Hello and welcome to the Hellraiser blog. Today's Hellraiser blog, we're going to look at Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora part 3. If you enjoyed today's blog, please, ladies and gentlemen, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share the blog so your friends can see what a great blog you've been watching. Okay, so Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora, probably not the fight that many of us anticipated or wanted. But it's the fight that's going on today, and so let's watch it. Let's see what happens. I was at the first fight between Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora, and Fury won it easily. I didn't even really pay any attention to the second fight because the first one, Fury boxed, I thought, very intelligently. He took as little risk as possible. He didn't turn it into a punch-up. He won it with his jab. And even when he landed with the jab, he didn't really look to then open up with bigger punches. He was just happy to land the jab and stay disciplined, keep the fight in first gear for as long as possible, and force... Once he was ahead, he forced Chisora to take all the risks if there was going to be any taken. And Chisora didn't really engage. He just sort of plodded through the fight and was beaten fairly soundly on points. So much so that actually when they had a rematch, I wasn't even interested to watch it. Two big heavyweights, you know, I'd have normally been more interested, but because of I was at the first fight and I saw how easily Fury contained Chisora. I mean, look, you can look at firstly that statistically, I mean, Tyson Fury 268 and 3/4 pounds, 6'9". It's got a reach of 206 centimeters. Chisora significantly shorter reach. I mean, Chisora's reach is 6'1", I think, 187 centimeters, and he's 6'1" tall. Chisora has to make the running here. Now, it's interesting, they've made this sort of joint statement that they're going to stand in the middle and have a punch up, which is not normally Tyson Fury's way at all. Chisora, look, I know both these guys from a long way back. Fury, I actually made his first pro fight. He boxed a guy called Bella Giongiosi. Chisora, I was when I first stopped boxing myself, I became a coach in Finchley and District Amateur Boxing Club, and Derek Chisora walked him through the doors one day, and that's where he started boxing. So I knew him from very early on, and I followed him throughout the entirety of his amateur and pro career. So I know Derek very well. Derek is a guy, right? So let's get back to the relevance of tonight's fight. Derek is a guy who I think he actually enjoys having toe-to-toe punch-up. I mean, he's not oblivious to the technicalities of boxing, but he is very happy as a very first option, if you like, to engage in a punch-up. Tyson Fury, he is a fighting man and he is the Gypsy King and everything, but my experiences of him, watching him develop as a fighter, is more he likes to engage in the chess match before the brawl. And I think if they do stand toe-to-toe, I think actually the pendulum, which is very much in Tyson Fury's favour at the outset, I think that it starts to come back to the centre, and it is rolling the dice for Tyson Fury if he does go and stand. Maybe doesn't make it a 50-50, but it does reduce a lot of his advantages over Chisora, because he's already shown that if he wants to take zero risks, a bit like how Klitschko used to box, very tight, very economical, using the strengths and his advantages, like I've just said, the reach advantage, the height advantage. And he's coming quite heavy here, Fury, which I think is relevant. So, okay, firstly, I'm not pretending to anyone that I expect Tyson Fury to get beat here, but his performances, Tyson Fury's performances, vary from there to right down. I mean, the standard of his boxing can go up or down for reasons unknown. This is just something that's crossed my mind, and I spoke to Don Charles, a trainer of Chisora, about this. I called him actually for something completely unrelated, for trying to arrange some sparring. But we started talking because I don't remember this conversation at all that I supposedly had with Don, but if he says it, I'd say it's probably right, it's accurate. He said that I called him after the Tyson Fury Chisora fight, the first one, and I said to him, this is something that is, I believe it because I know it's the sort of thing that I would have done. I think now I'm a little bit less abrupt and I care a little bit more maybe as to how people receive comments that I make, because people get upset. And I rang him up, at least I didn't put it on a blog, I said it to him. I went, this is what he said to me that I said to Don Charles. You rang me up and you said, what the F did you let Derek box at that weight for? Which I know if that was today, I wouldn't ring a trainer and say, put it like that. Okay, I'd be a little bit more diplomatic, a little bit more patient. And I think the word is empathic with how the other person might receive that. But anyway, I said to Don, why the F did you let Derek box it that way? Also, knowing Derek's quite stubborn. Okay, listen, I didn't take to Derek. When he came in the gym, he was quite moody, brooding, sort of sulking a lot of the time. And I just thought, you know, I ain't really got that much time for this. But I've sort of grown to like him over the years that I've known him. Over time, I knew actually I liked him quite quickly. I grew to like him quite quickly, but I didn't naturally take to him straight away, thinking, you know, this is my cup of tea, because he's quite temperamental, Derek. He seems to have chilled out quite a lot, but he's a sort of, like I say, I think he's the kind of guy actually enjoys standing toe to toe. So I believe when he says he's going to go and stand toe to toe with Fury, I believe that. And I think even if they do, I still think it weighs in Fury's favour, because Fury has shown himself, and also the way that Fury has been a lot less upright the last sort of 2 or 3 fights. He's been sitting down a lot more on his punches since he's teamed up with Sugar Hill. I think Sugar Hill Stewart. He's sort of still using his boxing. He's got a fantastic boxing brain, but he actually has been a lot more come forward, aggressive. His punch power has gone up tremendously, and he seems to engage in a firefight a lot more easily. For example, the Deontay Wilder fight. And I think he proved in those fights with Deontay Wilder that was the correct tactic. Trying to fence on the back foot at long range nearly got him knocked out. Funny how he actually got hit a lot less when he pushed Wilder onto the back foot. So Wilder's balance was then going backwards. Now, will he, from what he's saying he's going to do, stand in the middle and just have a trade-off? Well, that sounds like that's what he's going to try and do here, is to put Derek Chisora on the back foot and grind him down. And Derek's a guy who prefers to come forward. I mean, he can actually move, Derek. He's quite fast on his feet, but he's not top-tier fast on his feet. I mean, if you remember him fighting David Haye, Haye was way too quick on his feet for him. It was probably one of the things that his hands were quicker as well. But that was probably one of the things that I noticed the most, was how mobile that Haye was compared to Chisora. And Fury, I'd say, is more mobile than Haye most of the time. He has come in heavy for this fight. So maybe we are going to see the Fury who sits down on his punches, who comes forward, who goes through the opposition rather than dancing around, peppering him with jabs for a long time. But it's piqued a little bit more interest in me, the fact that Fury's coming heavy. Also, Fury's performances go up and down, so I'm thinking he's already beat him very easily twice in a row. So probably that impacts on what we're going to see. And also Fury's approach to the fight, mentally, where is he? Is he prepared to go into the trenches, or does he just think this is a turn up and I win? Plus he's saying he's going to stand toe to toe, which I think offers the chance, because just the reach difference they've got, really Fury has to, you'd think, has to keep it at long range for as long as possible early on, because that way he can't get hit and he can just keep picking off Chisora who has to come forwards. If Fury does what he's saying, which there's no guarantees, you know, look, this is boxing. People do say stuff to lure other people into thinking that they're going to do a certain thing, then do another. But he's saying he's going to stand in the middle of the ring. He's coming very heavy. Makes me think maybe he will do that. Because why would you, if you're going to move around, you don't come in heavy. So, you know, look, it's maybe not quite the one-horse race that it could be painted as. And listen, I'm no one encourages me to sell these fights or try and make them sound like they're even. And I don't actually think this is an even fight. I think Fury is a massive favourite, and rightly so. But Derek is a guy who likes fighting. He likes getting in there. He likes going in the trenches. He likes having a dust-up. And that's probably the best chance he's got of beating Fury, is if he can do that and Fury engages with him, which Fury is saying he is going to. So on that basis, I still lean heavily to Fury. And I think, okay, Fury might not box him on the back foot how he did, you know, so conservatively as he did in their first fight. But he might open up early on, a lot earlier, and try and push Derek back as well. But his straight punches and uppercuts, and Derek tends to sit down. He tends to squat and come in his centre of gravity quite low. Fury has lowered his own centre of gravity his last 2 or 3 fights, but I just think, you know, the best yardstick you could have for this is probably the ease with which Fury just beat Dillian Whyte compared to the 2 battles that Whyte had with Chisora, which some of them, you know, very, very close. So be very interesting to see what happens on the night. I will be commenting on at Mickey_Helliot on Twitter throughout the fight. And yeah, please let me know your thoughts. Also in the comments, feel free to let me know what you think, how this is going to go. I'm going to go for Fury, and I'm going to go for him in about round 7, because I think if he engages early, which I think he will do, much as I love Derek, I think it's probably too much for Derek on the night, but I've got a real soft spot for him, and I hope Derek just goes and performs well and comes out healthy at the end. And if he did pull off a win, what an amazing upset that would be, you know, for a guy that came from very humble beginnings. He's done very well already, and if he wins tonight, who knows? We'll be talking about him for a long time to come. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button. I'll be looking forward to seeing you again on the Hellraiser Boxing blog very soon. Cheers for watching. Bye-bye. Enjoy the fight.